7:45 on a Friday morning in Studley, Warwickshire. Year 10 student Georgia Gentry is not going to school today.
I'm off now. OK, sweetheart, have a good day then.
She's just one of more than 1,500 14 to 16-year-olds in Warwickshire who spend one day every week out of school, taking a vocational qualification at an FE college. There's a revolution taking place. Warwickshire LEA is one of the government's 14 to 19 pathfinders. It's successfully brokered relationships between schools, FE colleges and industrial providers to support vocational learning. Georgia attends Studley High School, one of a consortium of 5 schools which sends students out on courses at Warwickshire FE College.
The LEA have provided the structure to enable us to make the links with other providers. So we've got strong links with, for instance, Stratford-upon-Avon College and Warwickshire College on its various sites. That together with work-related learning on a placement basis means that we've got, as I say, around about 50 students in current year 10 and current year 11 of a total year group of 150 in each case, doing vocational or work-related courses on a day release basis.
The Henley Centre is one of Warwickshire College's 6 campuses and runs vocational courses in fashion and textiles. It gives Georgia Gentry a chance to experience work-related learning in an adult environment while still at school.
Today we're going to do a classic shirt, but what I'm going to do is get you to do actual bodice block and then we'll adapt it to a shirt. Hopefully today we'll have them patterned off.
Tracy Bridger is a specialist lecturer in fashion and textiles with years of experience of working in the rag trade.
For a whole outfit. We teach them the basics in sewing, not just hand sewing but machine sewing. We teach them pattern cutting as well as using commercial patterns, and it's something that they'll use in industry even if they're going to go to university to do merchandising in fashion. They've got to know the understructures of how the clothes work and how they're put together, and that's what we teach them.
Tracy makes sure she tailors her approach to a school cohort rather than an older FE group.
I wait until I've met the students first, find out their learning styles, find out what it is they want to learn, and then I go away and write the programme to suit their learning needs.
This approach has the support of Warwickshire's 14 to 19 Pathfinder team. The LEA was chosen by the government to develop new ways of providing work-related learning.
We'd been looking at that kind of working for 14 to 19-year-olds since about 1997. We did an action research project for the DFES, and by the time the paper was written suggesting pathfinders, we were a long way down the road of working with schools and colleges, employers, training providers, and enabling young people to experience learning in lots of different contexts.
Tracy Bridger has been seconded to Warwickshire College from this Centre for Fashion and Design. It's typical of the partnerships that have been encouraged by Warwickshire's Pathfinder team. The Inkborough Design Centre provides specialist training for the fashion and textiles industry and is at the cutting edge of vocational provision in this sector.
The infrastructure that was in Warwickshire is brilliant. From my perspective as an employer and the feed follow-through that we have, we're supported. We have the coordinators like Wendy and Natalie McLeod at St Benedict's and the other cohorts in the school in the area that we can sort of tap in if we've got a problem. We have good parental advice coming with the student as well. We liaise with the parents. We do school reports. We do parents' evenings, and we try and follow it like a year 10, year 11 school programme, but when they're with us on a Friday, it's very much further education.
At Studley High School, vocational coordinator Wendy Lott and deputy head Patrick Lopeman meet regularly to plan the curriculum for their students on FE courses.
That they've had a good settling in period, and I still want to check if they enjoy doing it, if they want any changes.
A good vocational curriculum enables us to offer more choice and to meet the demands of individual students at Key Stage 4. It's also part of the new government initiatives from the Thomson report to improve work-related learning through and beyond the curriculum.
Having started with just a handful of students going out on vocational placements, Studley High have now built up to a critical mass of 50 in each year group.
Now, because we've built up to 50, we treat that as two separate groups. The students have a choice of 4 options. Options A and B are the more traditional GCSE subjects delivered on site. We also include the preparation for employment and ASDAN skills-based courses there. In particular, in options C and D, as we call them here, we block in the vocational courses. And these vocational courses here count as 2 options. So students can choose one from there, or one from the package below. And we timetable options C and D on the Wednesday for Year 11 and the Friday for Year 10, so that the students who go out don't miss anything, because they're only missing the options that they're not doing.
So you're going to put your front wrong side. So this is your right side.
Warwickshire LEA provides advice to maximise opportunities for schools consortia and FE colleges to collaborate. For example, they have encouraged all schools to release their students on the same days each week.
The brokering, I think, is essential to actually help schools, because otherwise they would have to go out and broker all of their different learning opportunities for their students. Within the LEA, I've done the strategic brokering, if you like, with the Learning and Skills Council for funding, and larger partners and employers with the colleges. And then I've had an absolutely brilliant brokering coordinator who's looked after the real nitty-gritty and day-to-day stuff for the students, such as health and safety, registration, reporting to parents, transport, all of those things to make sure that young people are secure in these different learning environments.
The vocational courses available in Warwickshire lead to a variety of qualifications right across the curriculum.
Each programme actually caters for students of all abilities, so wherever there's a vocational link with another employer or college, those students can be on a learning programme leading to a variety of qualifications, really, from level 3, which are early AS levels, old GNVQs, which are called VCEs now, through to NVQ level 1, entry qualifications, occupational qualifications. The important thing to stress is that the qualification suits the learner's choice and the learner's learning style.
Gosh, that looks good. Is that the thing that you...
The school's vocational coordinators play a crucial role in supporting their students through their FE courses. Pastoral care is just one of their roles.
Of course, you don't get everything right all the time, but you learn from the mistakes, and all the coordinators work well together. And even though the pupils think they're out of school and out of sight of everybody, in fact, we do hear about what goes on both at college and on the buses to and from. And if there's any problems, we, as coordinators, contact each other and get it sorted, from the ground level, so to speak. Is the buses all right? Are you getting on the bus?
Yeah, they are actually quite full, but they're never on time.
So what's the verdict from school students experiencing work-related learning in a further education environment?
It's more of an adult environment, because it's not full of like little kids, 11, 12-year-olds. We get treated more like adults.
It's so much different. You get so much more freedom here, and it's a lot better because it's not as restricted.
It's good to be here because I've got to meet a lot of new people from different schools, which I wouldn't generally know.
It's like we get to do what we want to do rather than what we have to do, and we don't have to wear uniforms.
I don't know what I want to do when I'm older, but I'm hoping to get skills out of it, so I can maybe start my own clothes range and use it in a later life to get work and money.
In another initiative, FE staff teaching the school students are provided with professional support and specialised training if they need it.
This time I want you to make sure that it's...
Teaching 14 to 16-year-olds can be very different from teaching older college students.
So that's 14 centimetres on the board. So I'm going to measure down 14 centimetres.
I think that if you're trained and you're used to working with school leavers and adults, that you expect a certain level of motivation and behaviour standards. And quite often when you're dealing with 14-year-olds, they're coming into an environment where we expect a higher standard of behaviour. And for staff, it's difficult sometimes for them to know how to deal with the challenging behaviour, how to engage the students in learning, and they have to look at different ways in which they tackle the work, tackle the curriculum, to make it participative, make sure the students are not passive learners.
At Studley High School, they promote the value of their vocational provision to parents at an early stage, well before students make their Year 9 options choices.
There's a strong commitment at Studley from the senior management to make this vocational education work and to raise its profile, such that in Year 9 options evenings, for instance, when I'm talking to parents, I very much push the fact that these courses are for the full range of ability and that all students and their parents should consider such a course. When we're looking at new intake evenings, again this sort of thing is pushed because it's part of the school, it's a feature of the school which is to some extent unique in the country, and the prospective parents with their students, their children, need to know what we have to offer further on up the school. So when they're coming around, when their children are in Year 6, they need to know what our Key Stage 4 curriculum is like.
A Year 11 gifted and talented group transform themselves into FE students. They attend the Henley Centre's after-school course in fashion and textiles. These twilight sessions offer the more academic students the chance to choose from a raft of vocational qualifications, all in their spare time.
It's a voluntary time for them, it's in their own time, it's straight from school, and the majority of them make their own way here. There are some parental input, they double up in lifts, so it's important that we have the parents on board, and all the parents have been interviewed and explained what we actually are going to do with them, their children, for 3 hours every Tuesday night. When they're here, the gifted and talented will run through their Year 10 and Year 11 with a view to ending up with 4 vocational GCSEs. They will have a sitting guild in fashion, pattern cutting, theatre, and we will also do costume realisation module with them, which will take in boned bodice work and extra pattern cutting work. Those programme areas will give them an insight into going on to any level 3 or A level, whether they choose to do it here or whether they choose to go on to BTEC Foundation. It's all part of the process of fitting into further education.
So the strategy in Warwickshire is clearly working, but how could it be adopted in other parts of the country?
I would say work through a broker who can spend that time brokering and negotiating and build on their experience that they have already. I would also say don't go necessarily with your demands and we want, and be very, very aware of what the partner that you're dealing with has, of their limitations, and listen to their limitations as well, because colleges and training providers work in a very different way from schools. I think it's hugely important that the course actually leads to a proper qualification or an outcome of some sort, because why else are you going to devote that learning time? And it's difficult to explain to parents why young people are going to learn somewhere else unless they get the same exchange value for what they've been learning.